Isn't it funny how the most unforgettable scenes in life can be so trivial? It's the simple things in our life that make up the bulk of it. The mundane is where we live and we end up missing most of it. A story doesn't need to have flashy action or mind-blowing plot twists for it to be good. Stories about everyday life can just be as good. Life is messy, it's busy and hectic, it's heartbreaking and at the same time heartwarming. We underestimate the aspects which make up mundane life and consider them boring. At least that's what I think. Life has a way of making some of the most normal things the most interesting. The simple things in life are also the most extraordinary, and only the wise can see them. Japan, where a lot more is expected from their people in terms of productivity and work, people really need to find something to unwind at the end of the day. Something which can help you escape from your busy and hectic life. Something relaxing and calming and at the same time normal, that it would feel real. Slice of life, or more so its subgenre, Iyashikei, is one such form of entertainment. A slice of life essentially means that a slice is cut from the lives of these characters and presented to the viewers. Those slice of life can focus on anything from heart-wrenching sad stories to super funny comedy to intense action. Iyashikei focuses more on the relaxing or healing side of life. Normal peaceful lives of normal people, skipping the drama or the heartbreak or the tiredness of daily life to give a truly calming experience. The day-to-day grounded life of its characters, with their grounded stakes, it manages to get the viewers emotionally invested in these mellow stories about mundane life. Slice of life or Iyashikei gives the characters time to breathe. It gives us time to experience normal moments of their life, which as a result makes those characters seem even more real. It's escapism at its finest. It lets us experience someone else's life as our own. The characters are so real that it feels like they are one of us. Slice of life anime can be described as a holiday. Truly getting invested in one gives the same feeling as what I would refer to as a full-on 4D VR experience through someone else's body or life. But even though skipping the drama or intense stuff, they are in no way underwhelming or bland. You can feel outbursts of sadness or motivation from these virtual giveaways. For example, A Place Further in the Universe made me retrospect my entire life and every decision I have ever made. Granted, it's on more of the sadder aspect, these coming-of-age stories at the end of the day are just tales of personal discovery and growth, both of the characters and the viewers. It helps us refresh our mind and soul and maybe, for just some time, escape real life to find peace and calmness in theirs. In one sentence, Iyashikei is pornography for the soul. Maybe after a tiring and hectic day, you feel refreshed and at peace watching some cute anime girls go camping, and maybe it has helped you discover something about yourself which you never knew. That's what Slice of Life and Iyashikei is in its true sense. Today we'll be talking about one such sleeper hit anime of the current season which will help you calm your mind and unwind at the end of the day. And maybe you will learn something new about yourself too, like I did. Super Cub. Atmospheric storytelling is not something animes these days do, and it's obvious. To stand out among the plethora of quality shows, your first episode should have a bang larger than theirs. The first scene usually starts with something which should get you hooked on right from the start, or a small glimpse of a major scene later down the episode. So when this series started with around 3.5 minutes of no dialogue, I was surprised. You don't need to start out with a fast-paced, high-intensity first episode to stand out among the crowd. You can do that just by being unique. For these 3.5 minutes, we're introduced to the town which will weaken throughout the series, the beautiful mountains draped in the morning sun, the classroom, the four-way, and finally to the house of our main character. All these shots, they are not needed here. They can just start the episode from where Koguma, our main character, wakes up in the morning. But they put these background shots anyway. Why, you may ask? To set the atmosphere. The slow-paced quiet shots of the mountain looking over the city, the tables in the classroom, the quiet streets of the neighborhood, all of this help to set the mood for the entire show. Its use of classical music really complements the sombre yet soothing feel the show is going for. Debussy's Arboresque No. 1. This piece feels and sounds like a happy bright morning. It's just something which will go really well in the background while you're having your morning tea or coffee. It feels joyous. Precisely due to that reason, the series stopped this piece right when Koguma hit the alarm button, to show how different her life is from the happy, bright, sunshiny outside by contrasting it with this piece. But this didn't mean the dialogue started. For quite some time, we experienced some more of Koguma's repetitive mornings, and the intricate sound design just nails these scenes. Her pouring barley tea in the cup or spreading butter on her bread. The sound design makes it feel real. After that, we're finally introduced to our main character, Koguma. She has no parents, no money, no hobbies either, anyone she can call a friend or any goals for the future. The girl with nothing. As the episode rolls on, while Koguma is on her commute to home from school, She sees a motorcycle which really intrigues her, and thinking that a motorcycle might be something she's passionate about, something which she never knew about herself, she decides to buy an old used Super Cub motorcycle from a shop, and as a result, this starts her journey to better herself. I previously said about the series using classical music to complement its scenes and enrich the atmosphere. Using Debussy's Clair de Lune, probably the most bittersweet piece there is, in the background while showing Koguma's daily routine, just made the entire scene so much more meaningful. It elevated the sad yet happy mood the scene was trying to set. Another example, probably seem out of place here but I have to give, is using Liebestraum No. 3 by Litz. The piece, also known as The Love's Dream, just before it starts playing in episode 3, Koguma is seen waking up from a dream, implying the dream-like state she was in. While the atmosphere in itself draws you in, Koguma is the one who really puts it in its place. It's not like she's the most interesting main character. She's basic and bland, and may I put it that way, boring. She's almost like a piece of blank paper which keeps on filling up as the series keeps going, and her life becomes better, albeit bit by bit. It's really difficult writing a bland main character and not making it boring, and complete credit goes to the writers for weaving Koguma into such an interesting character, someone who you want to see grow even though at base she's really basic. But despite all that, the best thing about this series, out and out, is how real and human it feels, and the way it provides time to the viewers to take that all in, and to let it resonate with them. Koguma, the fact that she's an introvert is portrayed so perfectly in this, and as an introvert myself, I can relate to her taking deep breaths before opening a door, her sipping, eating up her meal and rather eating it cold just because she would have to talk with a lot of people, or this scene right here, which every introvert has always dreamed of doing, but we chicken out because of the fear of something embarrassing might happening to us, which we also see Koguma doing, and we even get her recognition of something bad happening. Her interactions with another one of the main characters of the show, Reiko. Even though Reiko has talked to her before, Koguma, even after that, still doesn't talk to her after class, but rather quickly sips out. And then she regrets it. I really love how the show shows her regretting this. This is exactly what makes the show so real and human, even with her other interactions with Reiko. Reiko is the extroverted, always ready for adventures kind of person, and in just about any other show, she'd always be at 150% energy all the time. But in this show, she doesn't. You know she's extroverted, but she's not always showing this side of hers, because that isn't what a real person would do. These little details are what make this show even better. I like how they didn't become best friends right after knowing they have a common interest, and the series takes its time to develop their relationship into ultimately becoming closer friends. Every morning after coming to class, there is this little good morning and and how Koguma never goes above a certain speed, or how she forgot to turn off her turn signal the first time she was riding her Super Cub. These human moments makes me fall in love with this show even more. There is very little dialogue in this show. It rather follows the show don't tell philosophy, because even without the dialogue, there are little details or symbolisms that paint a bigger picture. The characters' expressions, the mood set by the background, or my favorite, how Koguma and Reiko's growing bond is shown by them being in sync. The final character in our list, she, exerts the most protagonist energy out of them all. Like the previously mentioned realistic approach, all the characters in this show mostly look the same, with almost everyone having black hair and not some weird hair color. Except for she. She clearly stands out. Even before the series actually introduced her, you could clearly notice her in the backdrop. About that, the show actually puts an effort to animate the backgrounds really well. Even before a character is introduced, they're still animated with proper designs, unlike some other shows this season. Like, look at this, why does this guy have no eyes? What? He just looks like a hentai protagonist. I'm not even going any more into she because she's relatively newer and it would be better if you guys experience it for yourself. Another major thing which makes this show so good and such a good slice of life is its emphasis on small and personal victories. A trip to a nearby grocery store almost feels like an adventure, and whenever Koguma overcomes a small difficulty, which she has to do in a cost-effective manner, you would genuinely feel proud of her, and she does too. She thinks these little victories are so significant to her, and since this show is about her becoming a little happier from the depressing and aimless life she had back then, you feel the significance in them too. That's what makes people so captivated by these slow, personal stories. The long pauses helps you reflect upon what you watched and resonate with it. The vaster animation like the one we saw in Silent Voice really reflects a depressing monotonous life, but here they also use this as a method of storytelling, which falls into their show don't tell philosophy. Every time Koguma wins a personal battle, like starting her cup for the first time or changing the fuel of her cup for the first time, or anything which just makes her a little happy, like taking a sip of a cup of coffee or just wearing a heavier sweater in the cold. The show emphasizes that by making the saturation a bit higher, which signifies that our cold, monotonous life is turned a bit brighter, it is turned a bit warmer. Also, there are numerous other instances of this happening, and someone on the subreddit actually took the time to figure out all of them. And not just that, most of the places, like her school, the four-way, She's Cafe, all of them are real. This is not just realistic, this show is real. You can find the link to both of them in the description. Please go and check them out. It's really fascinating. The thematic symmetry, where with every part Koguma adds to her cub, she's adding a part to better herself. Like with a little time skip in episode 6, where her cub fully transformed into a bike, Koguma has grown a lot as a person too. She has a friend now, she's happier now, she even has done her first part-time job. She puts herself out of her comfort zone more, as we see in this episode later, and she is working on herself even more. And it's all because of that one cub she bought. Every episode of the series has a really good conclusion-like feeling, again, differentiating it from the usual trope of ending on cliffhangers. After watching most episodes, you get that completion or closure which you would expect from the final, like, I know I haven't seen much, but I know she's going to be just alright. The same feeling you get after finishing a good series, you can get that in almost every episode of this one. Before concluding this video, I want to talk about how much this show has inspired me. Watching Reiko trying to go up Mount Fuji after failing but still not giving up so many times was such a humbling experience. Koguma finding happiness in little things, just going around on her cub in the neighborhood, sometimes beyond her neighborhood, or heck maybe somewhere even far away. Not now but someday. This made me rediscover the explorer in myself, which I thought had died. This made me want to get on my motorcycle and go for a ride. Just aimlessly, it's about the journey, not the destination. And this quote by Koguma is just beautiful. This shows how big of a role the cub has played to better her life, because before it she had no one, now she has. I have no parents, no money either, nor do I have hobbies, friends or goals for the future. But where I didn't have anything in my life before, now I have a cub. The world is huge, but it's always connected by roads. I'm sure that my cub and I can go anywhere we want to. I hope I could convince you to check out this beautiful show. Maybe you won't find a passion for driving a cub from it or going out to explore, but I am sure you will have an experience equally worth it. That's all for today's video. Likes, subscriptions, shares, I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.